Hey everyone, big treat today, super exciting. Okay, it's Emmy season, RuPaul's Drag Race, season 12, 13 Emmy nominations, big round of applause. The most nominated reality program of the year. So congrats everyone, this is big news.
Thank you.
So before we get too much of a celebration, I want to take a second to acknowledge your friend Chi Chi DeVayne. I know all of you have had connections and stories, so if we can just take a second, maybe Heidi, I'll start with you. If there's something you want to say about her or just maybe a memory, that'd be great.
Yeah, I remember we had just finished filming season 12, and she actually came to my hometown for a performance, and I met her back behind stage, and then when everyone left, she pulled me aside, and she talked to me about what's about to happen, how things are going to change, and things I should be prepared for. And that moment of kindness was amazing. I think that's truly what she was all about, was the kindness and the sweetness. And it was just so amazing to be hearing such kind words and comforting things from someone I've looked up to for many years. And that was definitely an amazing memory of her.
Jaida, how about for you?
Well, I unfortunately did not have the chance to meet her in person, but she was always like messaging me on social media, just like being so sweet and like super excited about me potentially winning the show. And then when I won, she was just like over the moon. But I think it's just like something that everybody in the world's heart is broken right now for her. And I think that if everybody can feel the energy from you, that says something about who you are as a person and your spirit. And for her, I feel like that will always be her legacy, is her heart, that it was just so big and that she loved so many people so fiercely, and that she could dance, okay? We will not forget about the dancing toes. She was a performer, and I'm glad that she was able to do what she loved to do with her life.
Michelle?
You know, for me, I think it's obviously a bit different, but I had a connection with her, and I was instantly drawn to her when I was judging her, and I felt her pain, and I felt her feelings of inadequacy, because she didn't come from privilege and she didn't come from money, and that really struck something in me. I related in many ways, so when I was able to judge her, wanted to, as the tough love mom that I am, wanted to encourage her to keep doing what she's doing, but don't pay attention to anybody else. Focus on what you're doing and don't worry about it being about the money. But to be completely honest, I was able, and the biggest gift for me as a judge, and to be able to see all this talent that we get to see, Ross and I, is I get the privilege of touring with them. And obviously because of Corona, things have changed, but I was able to do a European cruise with Chi Chi, and I was able to live like through her eyes. We were in Dubrovnik, Croatia, and I got to see the splendor, like only a parent can kind of say it this way, but seeing my children live their lives and looking at it through their eyes is a gift. So being able to see Chi Chi, who was on her own, she was with Shangela and there was a bunch of us, but being able to see her see this new world for the first time and have her headphones in, and it was just splendor. It was awe. It was amazing. I just sat there watching her experience Europe for the first time, and to be able to be part of that and get to know her on that cruise was a really special gift, and she was a special, special queen.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for that. Ross, did you want to add anything?
I just want to say, of course, we're all heartbroken, and Michelle and I were so lucky to have a front row seat to see up close what the world saw, which is that star quality is undeniable no matter where you're from, and she proved that. And it was amazing to see her rise into her potential and really become famous worldwide, and we all feel the void. We miss her and we love her.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. And for anyone out there who's just tuning in or clicking in, I'm joined by the one and only winner of season 12, Jaida Essence Hall.
It still sounds so weird.
Miss Congeniality herself, Heidi in Closet.
Yay!
And then, of course, the incomparable Michelle Visage and Ross Mathews. Okay, Emmys, you guys. Okay, I mean, Ru has talked to me before about there's a roller coaster of fame. Drag Race is at the top right now. I mean, 12 nominations, the most nominated of any reality program. I was looking at the stats.
13.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Not that it matters, but it's 13.
No, but I mean, if we're just being
13.
technical, I mean, come on.
No,
But nobody's counting.
we're counting. it was so funny to me. This show, was on for so many years before Emmys ever acknowledged it. And then all of a sudden, it really, I think, has become the darling of the Emmys every year. You guys have won. Ru has won. What do you think took so long, and why do you think it's now? Maybe I'll start with Michelle or Ross to kind of give the behind-the-scenes perspective.
Well, for me, I started on season 3. Obviously, everybody knows this story. And it was a queer television show made by queer people for queer people on a queer network. And not everybody had said network. Not everybody had logo. At the time, I didn't even have it. You know what I mean? I had to go get it when I joined the program. And I think it was the little engine that could. I think people were kind of like, oh, that's cute. That's a cute show for gay people. And it became so much, it's always been so much more than that. But I think the word got around at how special this show was. Drag has always been important to me since I moved to New York City when I was 17. And I couldn't understand why drag was kind of marginalized within the community. And it was back then. Trans people weren't even called trans people. They were just queens or gay or whatever the situation was. It was a different day. And drag was so important to me as an art form, and I couldn't understand why every person that I knew, that I hung out with on the Christopher Street Piers, wasn't gagging for it the way that I was. I couldn't understand why these people weren't up where Madonna was. Like, this was everything to me. This is why drag is so special to me. So that when I started going out and performing in the clubs again, season 3, season 4, it was gay men, not even lesbians. It was gay men in the little dive bars, and I would sing and we would laugh and we'd watch the show. Then it started changing, and I'd have more gay women. I had more bi people. I've had more trans people. More people would come up and start talking about the show. Then as the tour started, I got to see the parents and see this parents. This is the most important, having a gay child myself, is having a parent show up and saying, thank you for the show. It has brought my child and myself closer, because I didn't understand my child, no matter what they identify as. It brought them together, and that's really what this show is about. So I think what you're asking is, why does it connect? And I think the connection is, I was a 13-year-old girl in central New Jersey who didn't fit in. I had body dysmorphia issues. I knew that boys didn't like me. I wasn't pretty enough for the girls. There was always something wrong, and I was a misfit, and I was bullied and all that. And I'm not here to tell a sob story. What I'm here to say is, there's a kid out there who felt the way that I did, feeling that way right now. And watching RuPaul's Drag Race lets them know that they are not alone and that they have a place where they fit. These queens, Heidi, Jaida, Chi Chi, all the queens that have come through RuPaul's Drag Race have gone through something, for better or for worse, that has changed their life and brought them to drag as an art form, whether it's an escape, whether it was, what kept them alive, whatever the situation is. Drag was their passion. It still is. And they know that they have a place where they belong. And that's why I think it's so compelling and so interesting and life affirmative to these kids out there who feel like they are lost.
I love that. Ross, do you want to add anything to that? Because you have been
I joined season 7, right? And I, of course, was obsessed with the show. I watched the show. I've been a guest judge a few times. And I think the show is really maintained what it is since the beginning. Of course, everything's elevated a bit, but the spirit of the show has maintained consistency. I think the culture sort of caught up to the show. And I remember the moment when I realized, OMG, was when Saturday Night Live did a sketch about us. And when I heard that they did, my first thought was, oh no, are they making fun of us? And when I watched it, there were straight men talking about how obsessed they were with the show. And I thought, oh my God, something is happening. Something is happening.
It's like when Will and Grace mentioned Michelle Visage. I was like, oh, this is a big deal again.
I mean, I was like, wait, they had to be talking about Drag Race, right? And they were like, no, girl, it was just you. And I was
how did you find out about that?
Somebody tweeted it to me, and I was like, what? My friend Lisa in Florida texted it to me. And sometimes when people text videos, is this big? I couldn't blow it up. I couldn't big in it. I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, what is this? I went on Twitter and I said,
oh my God.
Amazing.
Me?
I know, right?
I'm still not over it.
That's iconic. What I love about RuPaul's Drag Race is it continues to celebrate and include people of color. I would love to talk to Jaida and Heidi specifically. What do you think RuPaul's Drag Race has done specifically for Black queens and queens of color, because I really feel like the conversations have changed, and I really hope for you that opportunities have, you know, continued to expand.
I feel like the show has given like so many opportunities to people of color, especially like people like myself, who sometimes you don't feel like you are enough. And just to go on a show and to see the way that the judges embrace you and see that the way that the world can embrace you for just being who you are and just being a beautiful, Black, talented person. And sometimes not. Sometimes I'm talented, sometimes I'm not. But it still lets you know that there's a place for you in the world, and that our stories are important, that our stories matter, that what we have to say and what we've been through is important for people to hear it. And also for me, I know the show has been, specifically for myself, has been a catalyst about like what dreams really are. I think that people still think nowadays that dreams are not real. But it's something special about watching a show, especially for me, to see a Black person have a dream. And you don't always see that on TV, and see, like, even for Heidi, like from Ramos, North Carolina, me from Milwaukee, 2 Black people come on a show and find their dreams, and that dream is actually captured. And I think that's why people also are in love with the show too.
Yeah.
Heidi?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with all that Jaida said. It's definitely giving myself, especially, a platform to be able to show myself to the world and give the people an opportunity who may not be able to see that on a regular basis, insight of who I am as a person and all the things that make me me. I think that's showcased on the show, and not many shows do that. Like, you literally, most shows are like, well, this is that and this is that, whatever. But no, this show is all about getting into the deeper of who someone is at many, many times, and it just spreads so much love and insight to so many people who aren't always able to see that. Like, and also it's done more than just a lot of places, especially in the South. I go to a lot of like gigs and stuff have like the token Black queen or something. Like they have to have like a quota, like they have the one Black queen and then everybody else. And this has given us platforms to be able to show it to it. And it's not just tokenism, it's inclusion, and it's given all so many queens of color so many chances to show off the many, many talents that we possess as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Like, I know that like myself or my story or Chi Chi's story or Kennedy's story or any of us on the show, we don't represent every single person, a queer Black person in the community, but it's an opportunity for people to start to get a better insight on like, this is the way we live our lives. This is who we are. These are the adversities we face in our life every single day. And it allows for people who might not have had a Black person in their life to like have this person come into their home and get to know who we are and get to see who we are and realize that they're Black people who are Black queens are not that different from us. They go through some of the same things we go through, ups and downs, and we have a lot in common.
Absolutely. And like, what an important and memorable time in drag history with, you know, the 2 of you obviously from season 12, and then Shay just winning All-Stars. I mean, it's big, you know, congrats there. I just feel like it's such an important time, and it's all aligning with, you know, what important conversations that need to be had. You know, back to the Emmys, Ross and Michelle, I think, you know, these awards shows and these awards, I find them to be important. I mean, is it important for you guys to, you know, be nominated and then obviously to win? Is that an important part of it for you all, to have that kind of, you know, recognition and validation?
I think for me, I think it's more important. It's such an honor. Are you kidding? To be kind of even considered with the Hollywood elite, so to speak, that the Academy thinks we're worthy of even being thought of for a nomination, let alone 13 or multiples. And the fact that we've won is like, this little girl from Central Jersey is like, I can't believe that, just like Jaida was saying, it's, you know, dreams do come true. So it's an honor. Is it important? I think the important, if you want to be really honest, the important thing here is the message that this show is sending. The important thing is to let queer people and kids especially out there know that they matter, know that their voices are being heard, portrayed, realized on television, so they can then go live their life, because we're here trying to fight the fight. And again, you know, having a gay daughter, it's important for me that she knows that the world is going to be safer because we're fighting so hard for it. So I think, yes, of course, it's amazing to, are you kidding me? It's amazing to be nominated. It's important because the message of this show is so very important.
And yeah, I want to echo that. You know, I think it's just important that this show exists because when I was growing up, you know, when we were growing up, there was nothing like this. I couldn't point at TV and say, oh, look, that's like me. I'm going to grow up and be fine. I couldn't do that. So I was always just grateful the show existed. Then when we were nominated, I thought, how extraordinary. And then the first time that we won, seeing Ru hold that, I thought, not only are now kids in the world being able to see a show like this, they're seeing it win awards. Like, not just being invited to the table, but being celebrated. And I think that speaks volumes.
Guys, I was his date for the first time he won his first Emmy. And I remember he had his bag and I was like, leave your bag. Okay, she's going up.
Brought his bag up.
Yeah.
And I was just crying in the audience like a mother because I don't cry. And that was just a moment of, I've seen Ru from the clubs in New York City where we came up to this bitch going out there and winning multiple Emmys, the show winning multiple, and it's like your dreams do come. Ru comes from nothing. Y'all have to know this.
Right.
Yeah.
Dreams do come true. So it is just like Ross said, that's so important.
And it's also, you know, yes, it's Ru and the show, but what I love also with the 13 nominations, it's the crew getting nominated. It's a bunch of different queer people making this show that are also getting recognized for individual parts, makeup, you know, directing, all of that. And that's, you know, that's so important. Jaida, I would like to just ask you, you know, winning this show, what did that experience do for you? Obviously, professionally, it's a big boost for you to have won, but personally, and just for you, you know, as Jaida, but like, what did that mean and how did your life change after that moment?
I think first, I feel like confidence is one of those things where you build it in like steps. Like it's one piece and then another piece and there's another piece. And people look at the queens on the show like, yeah, we tell the stories and they still feel like they're so confident. They have it together so much. And especially for me, I don't know what it is. People always are like, you seem so confident. But before winning the show, I would always like kind of question like, well, do I have a place here in drag? Especially from Milwaukee because drag is so different. But what I do in my drag is people kind of take to more what they see on the show and they want to do that kind of drag more often than not. And so where I'm from, it's like, what I'm doing is not, they see it as like, it's an older school thing. It's not really, nobody wants to be glamorous and wear gowns or that kind of thing. And I was like, well, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe it's not good enough. And to go on the show and like hear reviews like, oh my God, this is a part of drag that we've always loved and appreciated. And you're doing that and you're giving it. And then to win, not doing what I feel like is right with the current and what like to go along with the ride. It was like, these are the things that I love about drag. These are the things that I love about dressing up. These are the things that I've loved about beauty. These are the ways I see myself in drag, and to know like all of those things that you saw and all those ways that you felt was enough, and enough for you to win. It just constantly reminds myself, and it allows me to tell other people like, you matter, you're enough, because I honestly kept feeling like, well, maybe I'll get on the show. If I'm lucky, I'll get on the show. Maybe they'll put me on the show because personality. Maybe they'll get me on the show because of, maybe they might not see if I'm special. And then to know that you are, and that just allows me to tell everybody that I know, like, literally, you are so much more than you think you are. And I even say, like, when I first started drag, the first time that I was ever in drag, I was a busted mess. Like, I was so through and tore up. And I was not the most confident person. And even coming into the competition, I feel like then I was more confident than I was when I went into season 12. But by the time that I got to the end of season 12, I realized that when I was that busted mess, I was the winner of season 12, and I just didn't know what my future will hold. And so I think it allows me to like tell my story to people. I'm like, it's kind of like church a little bit, like a testimony. It's like, I was not always I didn't believe in myself a lot, but great things can happen for you just being who you are. And you don't have to be more than that. Just be who you are and just love it.
Preach.
Yeah.
And I feel like what you guys were saying, that is why the show resonates with people and why it's getting nominated for Emmys. Heidi, I want to come back to you because I feel like you're destined for All Stars. Yeah. What do you think? Would you be open to that? I mean, let's just put it out into the universe.
You know, if I was to be asked to return, I would definitely probably tiptoe around that corner. I mean, I would love to. I always say Drag Race was one of the hardest thing I've ever done, but it also was the funnest thing I've ever done because I love drag. I love it. I love to entertain. I love to act a fool. And it's so much fun. I would definitely come back and I would definitely correct all the things that I did wrong the first time around, mostly fashion. And I also, to echo some of what Jaida said, I remember going into season 12 and being literally scared the entire season. Like I went in thinking I was confident, and I walked in and saw what the other girls were bringing. I was like, ooh, like my confidence went from here to here really fast. So I would definitely, I've grown so much in my confidence level. By the end of the season, you could see that, and I wouldn't let what other girls bring hamper what I do because I do what I do best.
You know, it's been a pleasure to talk to all of you. Is there anything else you want to talk? Because I mean, we, you know, at GLAAD are so happy that you all are getting these Emmy nominations. It's so important for people to see this show and to connect with this show. And I believe September 20th, we will find out which, wait, is that Michelle? Is that your birthday?
Oh my gosh, it's my birthday!
Well, let's hope you get one of those Emmy trophies for your next birthday present.
That would be a really great gift. And I think in closing, we are so grateful for these nominations. It does not go underappreciated or unnoticed. Like Ross and I and Carson, we text each other like we can't believe that this is the life that we're able to be a part of. And the honor is mine for sure to be able to be part of this legacy and this journey. And we're so grateful, but mostly to the fans that love the show, keep it afloat. The Academy, of course, for understanding what it is that we do, but mostly to these queens that share their lives with us and their art with us and allow us to try to help them in their journey to better, to get out there and make all the money that they can because the world is their oyster. So thank you.
Especially these two queens from season 12, right? Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so, so much. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck. I can't wait to see season 13 and All Stars and what's next. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks so much for the time.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.